Hey everyone, Mike here. The Pinellas Trail Challenge can be quite intimidating, so what I want to do today is bring you a video going over some tips, a course overview, and then answer some frequently asked questions that you may have on the race. So don't let the size of this video intimidate you in any way. I know these can get kind of long. What I want you to do is right now, look down in the video description. You'll see some detailed timestamps. Now, I'm not going to get offended if you don't want to watch the whole video, if you just want to watch part of it. This video is for you to use as you see fit. I make these videos because it's fun. I'm in no way affiliated with the race. I'm from St. Pete originally, so I do like this race. It is kind of special to me. I'm really hoping it helps you out if you're a first-time runner or even a returning runner. Now, something else I'm going to do during this video is bring you a lot of the course footage that I took last year for the race. If you want to see a full race recap from start to finish, I have a video on that I'll link in the video description. I suggest checking that out, but this will be a lot more cut and dry. Here are the facts. Here's some course footage. Here's what you need to do to survive. So that video, you can watch that for fun, but this video I think will be the most beneficial for you as a runner if you want to go and complete the Pinellas Trail Challenge. Okay, right into it. Let's start out with some tips. Now, the first tip, if you know me, this won't be a surprise, but it's going to be to stay hydrated and stay well fed. It's hot. It's hot this year. Go walk outside right now. It's steaming hot. You're going to want to stay hydrated. Now, during the course overview, I'm going to go over this a little more, but that first aid station is 8.5 miles away from the start. I would suggest carrying at least 32 ounces of water. I don't recall seeing any water fountains during that first 8.5 miles. There's a few parks, so you may be able to find one, but I would highly suggest carrying at least 2 water bottles, 2 16-ounce water bottles, around 32 ounces. That'll get you that first 8.5 miles. Now, it's going to be kind of dark out, but for my races this summer so far, at 6, 7 a.m., I'm sweating pretty good. So if you think you can make it 8.5 miles without water, I'd reconsider. At least have 1 water bottle, but like I said, two's probably the best. So if you haven't done an ultra before, 46 miles, especially in this heat, it's gonna take it out of you. So even when you don't want to eat, when you're at that halfway point, and your stomach's kind of feeling queasy, get something down. Even if it's soda, chips, aim for fruits, aim for gels, aim for the race foods. But if you need to take down some kind of calories, soda, chips, candy, that's gonna be at all the aid stations. I'll also go over that as well in the frequently asked questions about the aid station fare. But just know that all the aid stations have food, and I would highly suggest eating at least at every aid station you hit. My next tip is kind of another general one, but still pretty important. That's to pace yourself and stay cool. How do you stay cool? Each aid station should have ice. They're probably going to have some kind of rag. I would suggest carrying a buff or your own type of rag. That way you can dip it in the cold water, get some ice in it, rub it on yourself. It's going to be steaming hot. So not only get your fluids down, but also try to stay cool. If you need to stop on the side of the course in some shade, rest for a minute, do that. But most importantly, you shouldn't have to stop very much if you pace yourself. You're going to want to go out hard. It's exciting. There's like 200 people there. You're going to want to start flying. You probably will if you're like me, but start off nice and slow and steady. Walk early. Don't burn it all out in the first 10, 15, 20 miles. You got 46 miles, and it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be in the heat. So you're going to want to pace yourself, save some energy for the end of the race, and finish hard, run the finish. Last year, there's a lot of people that death marched that finish. So you want to be a runner that is running toward that finish line, not doing a death march. So please save some energy at the beginning of that race, use it at the end of the race, and you're going to have a good time. My next tip is to get a crew. If you're questioning it, you should probably get a crew. I did this race 2 years ago without a crew. I did it last year partially crewed. Having a crew is such a big benefit, not only for them carrying your gear, but also for the morale boost. Now, do you absolutely need a crew? No, like I said, I've done it before without a crew. It's doable. The aid stations are so frequent that you really don't need a crew, but I would say that it is very beneficial for this race, more so than other races. It's nice to have someone with some gear following you around that can go get you a food item or drink that you may want at that moment, and someone that can stop in between those aid stations. The aid stations are probably 3 to 4 miles apart, but I mean, it's hot enough to where if you're doing 15, 20, 30-minute miles, you may need someone to meet you halfway between it, depending on the type of runner you are. So I would suggest getting a crew. It's by no means mandatory, but I think it'll help you out a lot, especially if you're a first-time ultra runner. And my last tip would be to join the Facebook page. The Facebook page has a bunch of people that are just like me that want to help you out, that want to see you finish. It also has a lot of tips for race day, ones that I may not cover. And finally, it's good to see like-minded people that are also doing their first ultra, second, third, fourth, 10th ultra. Everyone from every walk of life is on the Facebook page, encouraging each other. So I would highly suggest joining the Facebook page. The Facebook page is also where you can find the pre-race documents. They have the waivers, they have the pre-race guidelines, they do shout outs for the aid stations. It's just a very amazing community, and I highly suggest going on there, joining it, and interacting with everyone else. Okay, so those are my tips. Right now, let's jump over to the computer. I'm going to do a course walkthrough, share some video, and highlight some of the aid stations, highlight some of the key areas on the course, and give you a look at what you're about to get into. Okay, so this is the entire course for the Pinellas Trail Challenge. You start in downtown St. Pete, go all the way up through, past that finish line in Dunedin, up to Tarpon Springs, then right back down to this park in Dunedin. So you do pass the finish line. There is an aid station right before the finish line. I'll get into this whole dynamic in a moment. Let's just go down right to the start. So right in the start, I believe this is the Rowdies Stadium. In this parking lot, you can park anywhere here. Your crew can drop you off. You can park your car for the entire day. This is where you're going to congregate. There should be a pickup around here. It's going to be hard to miss. You're going to start off right at the corner here. Try not to block the intersection. All the runners are probably going to congregate right around here, and then boom, everyone takes off. Now, if you notice, all along here, this is just mostly a sidewalk. It's a very wide sidewalk. It's very well marked, but there are a lot of cross streets. It's going to be early, but there is still going to be some traffic out, so try to abide by those traffic laws. Stopping for an extra 30 seconds to wait for the crossing light, it's not going to kill your time. Unless you're a front runner, then feel free to go ahead and play some Frogger. This first mile or two section, this is where you're going to pass a bunch of streets, but for the most part, shouldn't hit too much traffic this early in the morning. You're going to eventually come to Tropicana Field, which is where you really pick up the Pinellas Trail. Right here is where you're going to start seeing less and less of the road crossings. There's still going to be a few here and there, so please be mindful, especially early. No one's really expecting our runners to be running across the roads at this time. Also, if you see here, there is not a lot of parks, not a lot of places for water. This has a pretty big fence. This is going to be a detour to get water. I don't even know if it has water here. So with that first aid station, like I said, it's 8 miles away. There's not much here. So let's just zoom out and let's just kind of go hop over to that first aid station. Through Pasadena, right down. Now you're getting into Tyrone area. Here's the LA Fitness or East Sporto, whatever it is. Here's the Tyrone Mall. Right at this corner on 22nd Avenue, here's going to be the aid station. So something I didn't mention in my tips is cruise stops. If you look down in the comments right now, I should have a link of the cruise stops. If it's not there, I'm going to post it before the race. This is a spot that crew, they can park here. I saw them parked here last year. I probably shouldn't need crew this early, but just in case you can park here, please don't obstruct 22nd Avenue. It's busy. Aid station here, it's going to be pretty minimalistic. They have water, Gatorade, some gel, some snack bars. Fill up on water, and my suggestion is to head right back out. You're going to head out. Right here's 30th Avenue. I actually grew up down around here, down 30th Avenue my whole life, so I've been on this trail a lot my entire life. Cruising through, this is a very nice section of trail, very well maintained. The whole trail is paved, it's very nice, and you're going to get to this little crossing right here. I love this crossing. The sun's going to be coming up. It's going to be getting kind of hot, but very beautiful to run out over this water. One spot I do want to point out here is this KOA. So this KOA right here is going to be great for a cruise stop. And if you need to use the bathroom, if you absolutely have to, you can use the bathroom here. There's not many bathrooms on the Pinellas Trail, so pick them wisely. But my suggestion is to handle that before the race and keep on moving, because you're almost to that next aid station, which is at mile 13.5, right about that half marathon mark. And you're going to come right down, straight shot, right to this aid station. This aid station right here, fantastic. This was probably the most well-stocked aid station of the entire Pinellas Trail Challenge. They have cool towels. They had every sort of food you can imagine. They had it. Amazing aid station. Stop here for a minute, but don't stop too long, because you got to keep going. Continue down. There's a few road crossings, but if you notice here, a lot of the crossings use these overpasses. Now these are the Pinellas Trail mountains. You're going to get about 15 to 20 feet of incline and decline each time you go over one. They're really nice because they let you bypass that traffic, let you go right over it. You're going to hit a good number of these throughout the whole Pinellas Trail, which is nice because you don't have to wait at that stop sign, wait at that stoplight to cross. As I mentioned before, there's not much shade on the course. This is a good example. There are trees here and there, but mostly this is people's backyards. This is side streets, way open to the elements. You're gonna be hot, direct sunlight. So wear a hat, wear sunscreen, keep cool. And there are little spots you can get shade, but they are few and far in between. And that goes for most of the Pinellas Trail. So that last aid station was at 13.5. You're gonna keep on going. Plenty of spots right here, though your crew may be able to meet you, but honestly, it's a little bit of a maze to get back here, a little bit of maze to get to your runner, to try to get to them. So I would suggest stopping at those aid stations that I have listed in the comments below, in the description below. And also any place where there's an aid station, that's a good place to stop with your crew. Next aid station is at mile 19. So we went from 13.5 to 19. Now this is 4.5 miles away, and this is one of the longer distances you're gonna have to go between aid stations, aside of course from that first one. This aid station, up and over this little overpass, and aid station number 3 last year wasn't highly stocked. It wasn't it had some snacks, it had the water, the Gatorade, but not the highest stocked aid station, but it'll get you what you need to keep on going. Additionally, as I mentioned, right along this street, there's spots where your crew can meet you. So anywhere there's an aid station, it's probably a safe bet that your crew can meet up with you there. After aid station number 3, which is at 19 miles, you're gonna keep on going. I'm going to kind of go through this next few sections kind of quick because it's all, there's not much to it. Just go down the trail. There's not many areas where you have to go off course too much, except right along here. So right along here, you're going to hit, I think this is the Clearwater area, and the trail, it's not super clear where you go, but just follow the trail, follow the signs. You're going to find your way. You're not going to get lost. And there's going to be other runners on the course, so it's not too hard to find your way, but you do have to kind of exit the main trail and go down some streets, but very well paved, very wide streets. This is on a Saturday, so this downtown Clearwater area, it's not going to be too busy. So there are a few road crossings, but I wouldn't be too concerned about waiting too long. And before you know it, you're at mile 22 at aid station number 4. Very well stocked aid station. Not much more to say about this one. Crew stops, all the food you can eat, all the water you can carry, and just keep on going. Keep on going through downtown Clearwater. There's a few stores along here. As you can see, there's a bunch of side streets, so if your crew did want to meet you not at the aid station, they could, but it's so close together that I would say meet them at the aid station and then have them go right to that next aid station, which, zooming out, that is at mile... Going. That is at mile 25.5. Now this is Vinny's aid station. This aid station, it's awesome. This is also the spot where your first drop bag is going to be. It's right in this area. There's a little, I think it's a train where they have snacks and stuff. So if you wanted to get a smoothie or something to eat, I guess you could stop here. But Vinny's going to have all the stuff you need. He's got a ton of food, ton of water, anything you can think of. I love this area additionally because there's so many people in this whole area that use the trail for travel, for exercise, to go hop between the restaurants and bars. So very fun area. This is one of the highlights of the race here, is all the people cheering you on and seeing all the friendly faces. After mile 25.5, you're going to get off your butt. It's going to be hard because you hit that marathon and you still have 20 miles to go. And you're going to keep going down, and you're actually going to pass the finish line, which is at this park right here. This is an acceptable crew spot. You can have your crew meet you here. It's a half mile after the aid station. So I would say if you don't want to meet your crew here, if they don't want to deal with all this traffic, just have them go down, go to the finish line, and meet them there. This finish line, they're setting up here. They're not going to have any supplies for you, so don't think you're going to stop here and get an extra snack because you missed it at 25.5. You're going to have to keep on going. This is around, I think, mile 26-ish. There's some water fountains here if you missed water, but for the most part, you should be well taken care of by Vinny. So you're going to keep on going down here. Now, this is where the race for me both years got kind of tough. It got super hot out here. You're going right along this main road, almost no cover from the trees. So this is really where it gets hot. This is where it gets very, very hot. You're going to go over this Dunedin bridge right here. I always like going over this bridge. It's this big, long, giant overpass system. Passes all this nonsense, so don't have to worry about crossing any major roads. And you're going to make your way to aid station number 6 and 10. So this will be at mile 30, and then you're also going to hit it at mile 42. This aid station, great spot for crews to meet you right here. A lot of room to chill out, to get a snack, to collect your thoughts. For the most part, like all these aid stations, the best thing you can do is get snacks quick, get water quick, and just keep on moving. Don't get too comfortable. Go from aid station number 6 right to aid station number 7. So go from mile 30 all the way to mile 33. This aid station, it's also amazing. It's kind of sound like a broken record because all the aid stations are amazing. These are all hosted by volunteers, so they all are people in the ultra running community or the running community, so they know what the runners need, they know what you want. Mile 33, like I said, these are really close together as well, so 3 miles apart on these aid stations. This is very, very handy for this last 20 miles, having aid stations 3 miles apart every single time. I also want to mention that 3 miles may not seem far, but if you're death marching it, if you're hot, if you're tired, going from mile 30 to 33, you may be doing 20, 25, even 30-minute miles. I would always assume that it's going to be the worst case scenario. I would assume that going 3 miles could take you up to 45 minutes, up to an hour. Plan accordingly with how much water you want to carry. There are a few water fountains on this course, but they're not in abundance. You can always ask another crew for help or another runner for help. Always watch out for yourself and always try to carry enough water. And with that being said, we're going to go from mile 33 all the way to Tarpon Springs, to downtown Tarpon Springs, which is the turnaround point. This is another one of my favorite areas as well, because right along this street, the trail kind of splits the street in half, so you're running down the middle of the street on the trail. Lots of bars, lots of restaurants on either side, and you get to this brewery down here. This is probably my second most favorite aid station because the people are just so lively. They want to help you out. They're cheering you on. Another great aid station with everything you could think of. I sat down here for way too long last year because I was overheated and hot. You're not going to want to leave, but fight that battle, get up, and head right on back. So, one other thing to mention is that your second drop bag will be at mile 36. So this drop bag for me, I can't remember if I made a drop bag last year. If I did, it just had some gels. It hadn't a pair of socks. It was a very small, I think it was a Publix bag that I used that I just tied up and told them just to toss it when I was done. Don't even bother to return it. Going right back, nothing to see here. I'm going to zoom out because we're going to wrap this up quick because you've already seen it. You're going to cut on back. You're going to go from mile 36 back to mile 39, back to this aid station. Hit it, get out of there quick. You're at mile 39, keep on going. You got 3 miles to the next one. Mile 39, trekking all the way back. I'm going through this fast now, but on the day of, it's not going to feel very fast when you're when you're counting down those miles. You're going to hit mile 42. To fill up here, you're 4 miles away from being done. Make it quick. Mile 42, cut back all the way over this little bridge again. You're gonna start really hating these inclines and declines by this point because you're from Florida and you don't usually do legs and you don't do inclines and declines, but you're almost there. And before you know it, you're gonna hit right about here. There's always people with signs right here. There's people cheering you on here saying, oh, you're almost there. So all that energy you saved up from the beginning of the race that I told you to save up, you're gonna use it right on this final stretch. You're gonna come down through here. You're gonna go off, and then you're going to go into the park, down the sidewalk, and there should be a finish line set up right around here. This is a really fun walk. There's people cheering you on. There's kids. There's cowbells. It's a really, really awesome finish line, and you're going to get done here, and they're going to have the gazebos set up. There's going to be food. There's going to be ice, and you're going to be really proud of yourself because you just finished the Pinellas Trail Challenge 46-miler. Okay, now that the course overview is done, I'd like to go over some frequently asked questions. These questions were ones that I saw on the Facebook page asked a lot in previous years, so I figured I'd go ahead and answer them now. That way, it reduces the amount of people re-asking it on the Facebook page. The first one is, can I walk the whole thing? Maybe. You need to keep a pace of 17 minutes per mile. This seems like it is very doable, but this is 17 minutes, no stopping at all. You may be thinking, I'm a power walking champ. I can do 14, 15-minute miles. Well, can you do that for 13 hours? If you can't do that for 13 hours, you may want to reconsider walking the whole thing, maybe doing a walk-run strategy. It's doable, but man, you're going to want to at least pick up the pace in certain parts of it. So can you walk it? Yes. Should you? Probably not. You're probably going to be fighting that cutoff. Now, this next question that I always see is what type of aid is on the course? And for my course overview, you probably got a good idea, but just to go a little bit deeper into it, each aid station is stocked extremely well. Some are stocked better than others, but each of them should have something that you can eat, something that you can drink. They all have water. They all should have fruits. They all should have pretzels, chips, candies, sodas. That's your general ultramarathon fare. Highly sugary snacks, a lot of carbs. There is an amazing variety of food at the aid stations, but each aid station cannot guarantee that they'll have something. One aid station may have gummy bears and you may be chomping those down. Another aid station may not. One aid station may have pretzels that you love. Another one may not. Always assume that there's going to be some kind of sugary snack, some kind of salty snack, then some type of water and electrolyte drink. For the most part, each aid station should have something that you'll be able to eat, but if you have any dietary concerns, keep that food on you, keep that food with a crew member, and don't assume that any aid station will have any particular thing, but there's a good chance that it will. Additionally, all the aid stations should have some form of ice. Some of them actually have towels that they'll dip in the water. You can rub yourself, give the towel back, they'll throw it away or wash it or put it back in the bucket. What I like to do is carry a buff or a bandana. What I do is I tie up the ends, put some ice in it, carry the ice with me to go. Also, if you have a hydration vest, shove the ice in there. It's going to be hot, so utilize the ice when you can. Find a way to carry it. Keep cool out there. The next question I see a lot is, what is a drop bag and what can I put in it? Essentially, a drop bag is a bag that they're going to have at mile 25.5 and mile 36 at the end at that turnaround point. You can put whatever you want in it as long as it fits in a reasonably sized bag. Now, what's a good type of bag for your drop bag? This duffel bag. This is a good bag right here. This dry bag. Excellent bag. It's probably going to rain out there, so it's always good to have a dry bag. You can fold this one up. It folds pretty small. Something reasonably sized. There are going to be a ton of drop bags out there, so you don't want to carry something like this. No duffel bags. This is way too big. They might turn you down. They might say, no, this isn't good. We're not accepting this. So try to keep it to a small bag. In a bag like this, I can usually shove a single pair of shoes, some socks, maybe some salt tabs, some smaller items that I usually like for a race, maybe some foot or body lubricant. You're not going to need a lot. The aid stations have a lot of aid at them. So these are only things that you know you need. Like I said, I pack socks. Sometimes I'll pack a spare pair of shoes for that 25.5 mile point just because I sweat a lot and the shoes get soaked, but you're probably not going to need a lot. But if you have any dietary concerns, please pack that. Gels, Cliff Bars, whatever. Something that you know you want at the race, I would put in there. But for the most part, all the aid stations are so well stocked that you can get by with having a pretty minimally packed drop bag. The next question I see is, will my drop bag be returned? Yes, it will, but it might not be in a timely manner. They have to make trips to go and grab the drop bags and bring them to the finish line. If you're someone that finishes really fast, they might not have your drop bag ready. I believe last year you took your drop bag and when you were done, you put it in this finished pile. And then they had people doing trips every couple hours to go and grab the finished ones and bring them back to the end area. But be prepared to wait about an hour, maybe an hour and a half for your drop bag to be returned at that finish line. Additionally, if you don't want to wait for your drop bag to be returned to the finish line, you can probably go and pick it up on your way out. The finish line, it's kind of like a party. It's really fun to hang out, talk to people, and celebrate your victory. So I would hang out after the finish for an hour, 2 hours, wait for your drop bag, get some food, get some drink before you decide to go home. And the last question that I see is, speaking of travel, will there be transportation to the start or to the finish? No, absolutely not. This is kind of why a crew is kind of recommended, because you're going to have to find a way to get yourself dropped off at the start, and then you're going to have to find a way to get yourself home. Sometimes closer to the race, there's some people that'll offer carpooling, just random, other participants of the race that are saying, hey, I'm going to park here. I have a van with 5 seats. Does anybody want to jump in it? So that's an option for you if you want to carpool with someone. But like I said, go on the Facebook page, add that. You may get lucky. but I wouldn't plan on that, so I prepare to have someone drop me off at the start, then pick me up at the finish when I'm done if I was you. Okay, that's all I have. If you have any questions on the race, on the course, please leave them down in the comments below. Even better than that, go to the Facebook page, join it, and interact with the community. Like I said, the ultra running community is amazing, and the ultra running community around the Pinellas Trail Challenge is even more amazing. It's growing each year. I think this year it's over 200 runners, so it's growing. It's a free race. They provide excellent aid stations. It's just an amazing event, and I highly suggest you become part of the community and join that Facebook page. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this video either helps you out on the Pinellas Trail Challenge, or at the very least eases some of your fears that you may have had on the race. I hope everyone does amazing at the Pinellas Trail Challenge this year, and I can't wait to see you out there.